Welcome to the Lorehounds podcast. We're the Lorehounds, your guides to an ER that is somehow functioning. I don't know.
You're stretching it.
I am really stretching it. I'm John.
I'm David, and this is our coverage of Season 2, Episode 3, The Pitt. This is our vibe check podcast. We are not doing analysis as much as reaction. And we had busy days yesterday, and so we're just getting around to our recording now a little bit later than our normally scheduled time. But John, I don't know how you felt about this episode, but I finally feel like here we are. I'm back.
We're cooking.
To the pit. Yes.
We're cooking, baby. I wanted to touch on what you just said. You say it's not analysis, but I feel like we're doing only analysis and no recap, which is kind of funny.
Fair enough. It's not like we're doing scene by scene analysis.
Yeah. But I think that what you're getting from this show is not just talk about what happened, but let's go a little deeper on it. You know,
exactly.
Let's get our deep thoughts out on it. But I was with you. You know, when you said the show is finally starting to hit, I think that's right. Episodes 1 and 2, I thought were a lot of setup, and we finally got into 1,000 miles an hour, like the Pit feels normally. Yeah, and I think season 1 did the same thing. I don't think this is a step back for season 2. You just need that in any season where you're setting back up the day. Who are the players? What are the big mystery cases that we're going to have? What are the twists and turns going to be? We finally have a twist in there, like a twist of what might be coming. That is not the twist that I heard was coming.
Okay.
So that's exciting to me.
Okay. That's good. By the way, if people want to get a hold of us, Lorehounds at thelorehounds.com. Check the show notes for the link tree. And remember that we've got a whole bunch of Night of the Seven Kingdoms coverage going on and Oscar coverage going on. And we'll talk about that at the end of the podcast. So, twists. You want to start in there?
I just thought it was a really interesting twist that it's the 4th of July. What did Dana say? It's the 4th of fucking July. And the other ER in town is closed, right? They have a code black. They're not taking patients. I mean, first of all, why? And I loved, who is it? The security guard who was like, we're back. Why? How many patients? How long? Let's get the bets on the roster.
Right. And I love that it was that the line, we're back, is such a cultural cliche-y line to throw around.
Yeah.
And it totally throws in, it's like a little wink to the audience. Like, yes, episode 3, we did our setup. We had our cup of coffee. We're back, and here we're coming at you, and we're coming at you hard. So it was a total little fun, a wink and a nod. Of course, this is the Lorehound, so I did have to look up what code black means. And it means different things depending on where you are and in what hospital system. In the UK, apparently, it means just the facility is closed without necessarily any specific reason. A lot of places, code black is a bomb threat. In some places, it's an active shooter or some other externalized threat that they can deal with. Like whereas a code red is a fire, a code blue is typically a cardiac incident. So code black is some kind of external threat to the facility or some sort of threat to the facility itself. And they didn't explain it on the show. They just left us cliffhanger next hour.
I wonder if they will tell us. They kind of hinted towards telling us with the whole the bet on why. But at the same time, this show has done a really good job of focusing on the effects on this ER, right? People directly in the vicinity. What is the effect on them? The same way they didn't show the shooter or talk about motive with the MCE in season 1.
Right.
There is a level of this is a zoomed in show that almost feels like they won't tell us what's going on. At the same time, you know that this hospital is going to be so gossipy about somebody's going to do dual shifts over there and be like, oh yeah, this is what happened. I feel like that's the case. The show also is doing a really good job of starting to put countdowns down. Like I believe the girl who was not abused, but has that disorder. I can't recall the name of it. ITP. That's what it was.
That's it.
Her mom said she'd be there by 11. So we're getting some countdown clocks now where things are going to start happening at later hours. Really, really excited. And of course, as the night goes on, as it gets dark in Pittsburgh, there's going to be more firework related injuries. So we know that that's coming.
So where do we want to go from there? I've got a few notes in my, collection of things. Is there any particular storyline or patient story that you want to track and get into?
Let's go right for the dark stuff. Tree of Life shooting. I want to go right there.
Sure.
Let's start on the dark, and that way it keeps getting lighter from there.
Okay. This is really where the show started to the episode started to open up, and I had this really strong feeling of Dr. Robbie. He in that moment as he's talking to the patient. I apologize, I don't have her name on the tip of my tongue. He has this rabbinical or faith leader healer type persona in that moment, and I was like, oh, here we go. And then, of course, I went and read up on the Tree of Life shooting, which was a real thing, a synagogue that holds multiple congregations, or 11 people were brutally murdered in October of 2018.
Yeah, I remember when this happened. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
This was a big news story.
And it happened in Pittsburgh. There actually was a victim of the shooting who is named Rabinovich. Which is the same as, I believe, Robbie's last name, right? So,
yeah, I think it's spelled a little differently, but yeah.
Yeah. Just one of those weird little things. And it sounds like the guy who did this came from a very broken home and a very broken background. He's been tried and convicted, and he is currently on death row in Indiana, appealing his case. So this is very much an active, ongoing thing for a lot of communities, and one of the worst incidences of violence towards the Jewish community in the United States in a long time.
Yeah. One thing that I was really glad that they brought in, and I see you have a note on this too, but the role of the Muslim community in Pittsburgh to really wrap their arms around the victims. And make sure that the funerals were paid for and that there was a safe community to rely on.
Right.
And, for all the political quagmires we found ourselves in and religious feuds that are ongoing, it's nice to see things kinder for a moment.
Right. And it was with Perla, I believe, right? The nurse.
Yeah.
And just that whole interaction between the three of them in the various configurations. I think there was a moment in season 1 where Robbie is talking to, is it a brother and sister about, I'm trying to dredge the memories out of my memory banks right now. And he talks about a sort of a healing blessing that I believe comes from Hawaiian culture.
Yeah, that was the brother and sister who were having to make the decision to pull the plug on their father.
Right. And it was just so beautiful, and it was just the best of Robbie, the best of who we know this character is when he's at his most human. And like all human beings, we're complex and we have multifaceted, we're multifaceted. So when we're talking to the hospital administrator, we're maybe kind of a jerk, or what have you. And then at the same time, he's being so very human. And I thought this storyline was going to kind of go one place when she was like, "Oh, you're not married," and all this kind of stuff. And then it turned into the Tree of Life stuff, and I was just like, wow, this is really what I come to the show for. One of the levels of the show that I come for is that deep appreciation for humanity, appreciating each other, connecting with each other, and sharing these kind of moments in these kinds of settings.
Right. I could have sworn at the beginning we were going to be singing Matchmaker, make me a match. But we did not get there. We did not get there. I think it's a better show for it, right? Like really go into something deeper like that. And I thought it was a respectful way to approach it from all ends. And I'm glad that they did that, because that is, it's a tough subject from a lot of angles. And they really showed a lot of respect with it. I also want to point out how Robbie reacts to all this stuff. He first of all says to her, there's no clock on recovery from this stuff.
So profound.
And that's true, but also we know that he also is having trouble getting over his own PTSD.
Right.
And he does not take that advice, right? He just denies. And he does a lot of other avoidant behaviors, like when they're in the motorcycle driver who died, right after he realized that the guy's dead, they all call him on, like, isn't that where you got your license? Oh yeah, but I wear a helmet. Lie. And then he goes to leave, and I believe it's Ogilvy who says, aren't we gonna have a moment? He goes, he'll still be dead when we get back. And that's so out of character for him,
right?
That he says, when we have a minute. That's what he said. He said, when we have a moment, we take it. So, you can argue that this was a work-related decision. We have several other people in a trauma room who need help immediately. Fine. You come back, he'll still be dead. But to me, I think it was less about that, or at least partially about something else, which is I don't want to see myself in this person. I feel like I'm being called out, and like I'm being warned here of this is my future if I keep risking my life like this.
I thought of you instantly when that whole thing went down. I was like, okay, John's all over this.
Yeah, and of course, who else brings up the motorcycle is his Jewish patient who goes, 50, what are you, 50-ish, 50-ish, riding a motorcycle. That's sad. And then he goes up to Dana and goes, oh, apparently I'm having a midlife crisis with my motorcycle. No comment, she says.
So good. And we should really look up the name of that character and actor. She just calls him on it and just sees right through it and has that sort of gravitas of just like, you can't bullshit me, bro. I've got years on you. It was just so perfect. And just the idea, being a man of my mid-50s-ish, of me thinking about, like, I had a flash of a moment thinking back to, 10, 15 years ago, wouldn't it be fun to have a motorcycle? I never did, and I'm glad I didn't. There's just no way I'm getting on a motorcycle at this age right now.
I've never had the urge to do it.
It's fun.
I remember, now we don't want to, just be sharing motorcycle stories all the time, but I do remember driving on a busy road, and this guy was just weaving in and out of cars, like really dangerous, just like weaving in and out. And it was like stop traffic, but he was still like speeding in between the cars. I see on Facebook a few days later, somebody who I went to high school with, I didn't know them, but somebody I went to high school with, and he got like paralyzed from it.
Right.
I mean, it's so dangerous. I mean, look, do what you want. It's your own life. Wear a helmet. Come on, guys. Just wear a helmet.
Exactly. Yeah, I've ridden. I've driven a motorcycle a few times, and I've ridden on the back of many of them. I've had friends who've owned motorcycles. Always wore a helmet. Never not wore it. Even I think scooters. I remember when scooters came out when I was in high school, and that was a big deal. I mean, you can crack your skull open riding a bike down your driveway, right? It doesn't matter. It's the speed doesn't matter. It's the fact that your head is being pulled down by gravity. Anyway, enough motorcycle PSA stuff.
I have the character name. It's Yana Kovalenko.
Right.
Was who he was talking to. So.
Did you know what a samovar was?
I did not.
Okay, at all. Had you ever heard the word?
No, I've never heard of the word. I mean, it's not just a Jewish thing. It's like it's a Russian thing, right? This is an Eastern European Jewish thing.
And not just a Jewish thing. It is. It came out. Of course, this is the Lorehounds, so I read up on samovars. I was aware that the thing existed, but I didn't understand the depths of the culture until I sort of read some articles and looked at some pictures and Wikipedias and stuff. So it's based on an earlier Greek and Byzantine design, and it is the word samovar apparently is Russian for self boiler. And it's very common in Russia, throughout Central Asia. It is cultural, I guess you could say, and it's not tied to religious culture per se. It is not a Jewish thing or an Orthodox thing. It is just people in this region thing. Mm-hmm. And what they would do inside of this big bulbous shape, there's a central chimney that you fill up. You put charcoal or other material in there. And then around that central tube is a water tank. And so that water gets heated up and boiled. And then at the top of that little chimney, you put a teapot up there and you make a little concentrate of tea. And then you pour that tea into a teacup. And then at the bottom of the samovar, you usually have a spigot of some kind. And then you would mix hot water in with the concentrated tea to your desired strength and taste. And then that obviously did come over with a lot of Russian Jews when they came to the United States, and then just Russian and Central Caucasus cultures as people emigrated to the United States in the normal course. And then they turned into electric, kettles, more or less. And then the samovar is kind of functionally the progenitor of percolators, American-style coffee percolators.
I do love a good coffee percolator. I use one myself.
Yeah, there you go.
In the morning.
Well, lately. Thank your Russian ancestors. I don't know if you have Russian.
I do not have Russian. I have Lithuanian ancestors. That's probably close enough.
Okay,
for this case.
So, anyway, to our Russian immigrant friends for bringing us the samovar. So they get quite hot, and obviously that's what burned her when it fell.
Something that I think is, and I appreciate that deep dive because that's very helpful. Something that I think is something that I think is really important in the scene is it really highlights, we have come into more of a realization in the last 10 to 15 years, I'd say, of the effect that fireworks have on survivors of trauma.
Oh yeah, not even, God, we haven't gone there yet, have we?
But at the same time, we talk about it mostly in the context of veterans, right? Like that is most of the time when I've heard this, that's what it's talked about. But what we don't talk about is the intersection that has in the scourge of mass shootings in America.
It's a really good point.
And there's so many victims now of mass shootings in America and survivors of mass shootings in America that probably will have a similar reaction to a veteran on the 4th of July. And so I've heard there's been a big push, I think, to cut down on the fireworks, to limit them, to put them in certain areas only. I understand they're fun, but like there's something that you can't avoid if you live in the area.
Right.
And that's why I do think that there probably needs to be more regulation on that.
And this is where we get into that tension between don't tell me what to do, but yet your actions are affecting me. And where do we find the middle ground where I can live my life and have sort of my rights and you can have your rights and your fun but we can both, find the middle ground. And that's really hard these days to negotiate that out. People are very pushy and demandy about what they want. So banning fireworks doesn't work because there's always somebody who's going to sell them.
It's very easy to say your rights end where they affect mine.
Right.
It's very easy to say that.
Say that. Yes, to say
but
that.
To figure out where that line is extremely difficult.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I feel for this woman, this fake woman. I mean, I know she's not real, but I'm sure that other people are real and represented by this character.
Yeah.
And it
even
does
just
bring
from minor annoyance to actual triggering for PTSD situations. So.
Yeah. And, we just had a mass casualty event the last season, right? In this show.
Yeah.
What are the survivors of that feeling like? What's the name of the kid that was not his stepkid?
Oh, I forgot now. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Okay, but him, what's he feeling with all this?
That's a really good point because he was at the concert and
and he was shot.
And his girlfriend, was call her for all intents and purposes, was killed. So
I wonder if Robbie's going to have a realization after this. I should call and see how he's doing.
That'd be interesting.
Because I bet you they haven't talked since. Because remember, he gave him the big tell off and his mom was actually really kind to Robbie. But, kids don't understand. With that.
And that's the thing with Robbie is he's going to internalize that pretty hard.
Right.
For as sanguine as he might be and as zen in the art of motorcycle maintenance he might be on the outside, he is definitely... that is one of those things that he's going to carry with him. Have you ever read Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance?
No, but I've read Zen and the Art of Mixing for audio.
It's probably based on that. Anyway, it comes out of a tradition of that time of the electric acid Kool-Aid test and Kerouac and On the Road and the Dharma Bombs and Bukowski, and I'm just trying to throw names at stuff. There's a whole what was it? There was another one. Anyway, my mid 50s brain is failing me. There's a whole genre and a class of stuff that that Zen and the Art of Motorcycle Maintenance came out of, and it's a quick and easy fun read. and it affected a lot of people. And the idea of that freedom of having a motorcycle and going wherever life sort of takes you was a baked in sort of mythological tropey, I don't know, something in culture at that time. I don't think that same sense of easy rider exploration, going out into the world on a motorcycle, I don't think that exists anymore. So it's a little anachronistic that they gave Robbie this sort of trope to follow.
It's interesting. I don't know. I've never read that book, but I remember the mixing one was very like, I'm not going to teach you how to mix. I'm just going to teach you what vibes to carry. Well,
exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it's
and
about.
I was like, this is not helpful. And I put it away. But,
Brilliant.
I was like, I'm still too new to this. I need help. So anyway, go on.
I wanted to circle back on that conversation between Perla and what was her name again? I apologize. The character.
I closed the IMDb.
You closed the tab. Anyway, that
Kovalenko, Yana Kovalenko.
That in this world where we are today, even today as we're recording, this sort of horrible things that are happening, that a show will put two characters into that conversation, and into that conversation between two communities of faith that have a lot of there's a lot of stress and anxiety and antagonism and real pain and real anger at things that are being done in the name of religion, and people doing really evil shit towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
That these two people can find a moment, and we can remember that these two communities also have a lot in common with each other. And there's a lot of richness and humanity in both of them. And when just two people are together, we can remember that, you might wear certain clothes or practice certain faiths, but at the end of the day, are we people, and do we look after each other?
Mm-hmm.
I was just really moved by that conversation.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it goes to, it's, easy to think of Israel, Gaza, and that conflict immediately, right? When she goes, "Are you Muslim?" Your heart stops for a second. What's she gonna say? Because she was such a sweet woman before that. But the thing is, when you have that kind of community coming together and that individual care, it's really hard to have that kind of macro hatred towards each other. It's really hard to have that kind of conflict. And that's, again, I don't want to go into politics, but, when we talk about, U.S. aid, right? U.S. aid got cut this year. And, a lot of people go, well, what's the good of foreign aid? And part of it is, it's really hard for people to hate your country when your country is feeding them. Right. Like it is a selfless thing, but it's also a selfish thing, which is that people start to learn that you're an ally and people start to trust you more. And so I think it's the same thing here, right? That, this person, my God, we're never going to remember her name, Kovalenko. Yana Kovalenko could have had that kind of Israel-Gaza animosity, but instead, this kind of, community structuring, this community assistance and help and kindness and bonding made her see Perla as a human, even though Perla wasn't even probably in the group that helped her directly. Right.
And it's interesting, the identity and tribalism. Mm-hmm. Perla, I believe, is from is she Malaysian or somewhere from that side of the world? That's my headcanon for her. Because what do they speak?
They all know Tagalog, right? That's the language they're speaking.
Yeah. So
Tagalog. Oh my God, I can't pronounce it.
We gotta don't add us, please.
We've already dived into several landmines on this podcast, so I don't know. This is where we lose half our patrons.
But the fact that this identification, this sort of tribal thing, you are this thing before you are human, and in that moment, their humanity came out, But then that Muslim community that reached out and organized for the Tree of Life families and victims, they were motivated by their faith. They were motivated by the tenets of their faith.
Right.
That had nothing to do with land and history and what they as people used their faith as a mechanism to do something that was really, and then Yanakova says to her, "Oh, your people, like your tribe, your group." It's like, yeah, and like you said, she may not even have been active.
Right. Probably wasn't, right? Like
that particular group.
It was probably a very specific group of people who volunteered to help. A number of people who run a charity or volunteer. Nothing telling us that she helped, especially because she seemed to be kind of clueless to the situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's where I was reading that in. It's
interesting that the individual at themselves to the sociological application of all Muslims, all Christians, all Buddhists, all Hindus, right? And God, can you even call somebody Hindu? Because that's a complex thing.
Or Muslim, or Jewish, right? Like there's all these, or Christian. There's all these subsets where it's just like very, very varied.
Yeah. So I just thought that the show did that so beautifully, and I just really appreciated, in a time of a lot of stress and anxiety and daily horrors from all parts of the world, it was really lovely to have that moment. And that's really where the episode got me, right? That's one of the things that in this episode, there were multiple things in this episode. Maybe we can swing out to some other conversations.
Yeah. So a lot more in this episode. I just want to really quick shout out Louis. That tooth is going to cause him some trouble. I think that's a ticking time bomb.
I heard somewhere else that there's something that is cardiac related potentially with teeth like this, like some sort of like bacteria or something like that.
I was more concerned that it's going to go to his brain.
I think okay.
That's why they treat the teeth in the emergency room, even though they're not a dentist, is that they don't want your brain to get an infection.
Right. I don't know where it's going to go, but I absolutely agree that I think Louis is a goner this season.
You think he's dead? I don't think he's dead.
This show, I just don't know. I don't know where they're going to go.
I'm still Louis. I'm done watching this show.
I am worried for him. That is for sure. And what is that liquid? What is that like?
Okay, there is a thing.
Somebody needs to deep dive on that.
No, so did you talk, because I did look into this.
Okay, all right.
I got to find my notes here.
Anyway, I think with Ogilvy, and I feel a little worried for Huckleberry. What's his actual name? Boy, I'm really off my game today. It's been a long weekend. And that he is going to run. I think they're setting him up a little bit to be a Robbie like character with carrying the stress and internalizing these traumatic situations, and what turns you into not only you kind of crave the environment and the stress and the intensity and the camaraderie and all of that, but then that costs you so much. And was it episode 1 when Robbie's sort of giving him the nod saying, do the moment of silence thing, that really sets me up for me in my mind for Whittaker to sort of be right in behind Robbie in terms of where Whittaker's arc is going. He's going to follow the Robbie footsteps.
And what was Whittaker's undergraduate major?
I don't remember.
Theology.
There you go. That's right. That is absolutely right.
I see your note here that Robbie is very rabbinical. I think that's right. They both have this bedside manner that is very pulpit based, I feel like. Or not even pulpit based, but it's more like you go to see the rabbi after hours and you need some advice, or the priest, or the pastor, or whatever. And I think that, obviously, I think it's safe to say Whittaker was raised in a Christian household.
Right, yeah.
Based on his everything about him. But also, theology major, 9 times out of 10, that is a Christian, right? Like that is, they go to college for it. It's a whole thing. So anyway, I think that's right. I think he's the pastoral doctor.
Right. And I think in all of this, it's this sort of, faith as a construct to express humanity. And, regardless of what tradition, this deep care for your fellow human, I think Whittaker has that.
Yeah.
I think
so.
Deep down inside there, he has that same thing that Robbie has.
Yeah.
And you're like, I have this emotion, I have this feeling, I want to care for people in these different ways, and then how it gets expressed. Theological school, rabbinical school, right? I don't know the pathway for becoming an imam, but whatever the training is. In this particular case, it's coming out as medical.
Yeah,
right. The expression is a medical care, not a physical. Speaking
of care, somehow they were able to get that kid to sit still.
Wait, did you look up the stuff for Louis?
Oh, I did. Yeah, sorry. It is. I have it right here. It is alcohol-related peritoneal fluid.
Okay.
Which is basically that your liver is so damaged and there's portal hypertension. So I think that means like it causes the fluid to leak into the abdomen.
Okay, into the intercostal
from the liver.
Spaces. You're right. Yeah, into just around where it's not supposed to be.
Right.
So this normally would be, it's not uric, but it's
from his liver and potentially pancreas.
Okay, and normally I guess it would be passed out and not still
right, because your liver processes it, but because of the damage, it can't work through it all, so it pushes it into your abdomen.
Interesting.
Which is insane.
That's totally insane. And that was like 5 liters or whatever. I mean, that was an insane amount of.
And he's going to us, I thought I had another couple days and be like, what?
Bro. And yeah, this is the painful part about healthcare stuff too. It's like, man, you're costing the system because you're not taking care of yourself, and then it's all kind of fun and a joke. It's kind of rough, right? Because they have to spend time and resources. Somebody's got to pay for that. At the same time,
well,
he's got a condition.
I hate thinking of it that way because it reminds me that our whole medical system is a capitalist nightmare.
Yes, exactly.
But I mean, sure, yeah.
So again, it's just setting up some of that tension. So, the social worker. Wait, you started on somebody else?
I was going to go talk about the beads.
Yeah.
I thought that you and I are fathers. We've fathered.
Yep. I've not had to pull beads out. So
when they said you haven't had to get beads out,
my daughter has not put beads up.
Me either. And I'm so happy. I am so happy that I've never had to do this. Now there's still time. I have a 3 and a 5-year-old. Especially on the 3-year-old. I think I still got time. I'm hoping that he doesn't hear this and then decide to do it. But no, I think we still have time on that. I really love this conversation. Do I believe that Langdon can just quote this guy off the top of his head all the time? Like, people quote things in movies in a way that nobody does in real life.
Right. And I have the quote here. May you be gentle and loving, clear and sure. May you trust in the unseen providence that has chosen you to be a family. May you stand sure on your ground and know that every grace you need will unfold before you. I'm going to get weepy, like all the mornings of your life.
And may God bless and keep the beads far away from my son.
So John O'Donohue passed away in 2008. He was an Irish poet, author, and priest, and a philosopher, a Hegelian philosopher, a philosopher of Hegel, who was a German philosopher, whose biggest known thing that he was known for was absolute idealism. And I feel a blog post coming on because I think there is some absolute idealism baked into this show. I don't know whether intentionally or unintentionally, but if there's any Hegelian philosophers in our listening community, write in because I'd love to talk with you.
That sounds exciting. I actually thought to myself, I was like, this might be a book I pick up. This seems like a good one to just pick up and read a quote and then move on with your day. To bless the space between us, which I believe was published in 2008, which seems to be the same year of his death. That's interesting. I don't know. I didn't do that much research into his publication history. And he died January 4th, 2008. It's a posthumous release. Okay. Well, yeah, but this is January 4th. Oh, January 4th, not July 4th. Sorry. I had a weird moment of No. I'm just saying it's probably a posthumous release. Yeah. That's possible. Very possible. But yeah, this was really interesting as well because we had these 3 men coming together and sort of sharing their experience of fatherhood, parenthood and fatherhood. I don't know if you picked up on this, but last episode we had 3 women together draining an erect penis. Yeah, this is the same thing. Draining an erect penis and talking about fatherhood in a deep way.
Well, they had three women who were talking, around, draining the patriarchy. I don't know.
What are you on? All right. You told me I had a stretch earlier. This is your stretch.
All right. Fair enough.
It's as stretched as that man's foreskin.
Oh boy. Anyway, you come for the vibes, right? They come for the vibes. I just thought it was interesting that these characters are having these deep, meaning conversations around these sort of different kinds of incidents. And I just noticed that it happened to be three women in the last episode.
Oh my God.
And in this one, we got three men. So talking about life, the universe, and beads up noses.
As much as I'm mocking this whole thing, I think you're right that is a good thing that this show does. And it reminds me of what people said was really good in early Game of Thrones, which was the traveling pony show. You know what I mean? Like everybody, walking slowly, traveling the land and having deep conversations.
Right.
Here, most of the time, these characters are running, but now we have something where you have to sit there for a few minutes, and because you're training someone, you have an extra person, and so we get to have that ensemble moment that you don't always get to have. It's not fast, quippy dialogue. It's everyone sitting for a moment and breathing.
Right. And that's really what I was waiting for. The first two episodes was to return to this, to these moments of dialogue, these moments of conversation. What is it like to be a father? And I'm a new father, and I'm an experienced father, and I'm, a father with a kid who just won't sit still. And how do we solve this? When I saw him climbing around, I was just like, oh man. And then they said beads up his nose. I was like, oh, how are they even going to? And they did, with patience and kindness and a little bit of clever, parenting techniques, right? It's not just fatherhood, it's a parent's across the spectrum.
Right.
We have to be clever and inventive in a lot of ways sometimes to manage the craziness that our kids get into.
Donnie, though, says there's no handbook to fatherhood. I was like, have you been to a Barnes & Noble recently? There's like 2 bookshelves of
There's
it.
a multi-billion-dollar industry for it, actually.
You can't walk around without tripping on one.
That's right. I think it was Dr. Spock, not from Star Trek, but a guy who was named Dr. Spock back in the day. I think he birthed the sort of modern parenting publication revolution, and this idea that we could actually be interested in parenting as technique and as skill and as managing all of this stuff. I think prior to that, it was pretty rudimentary, and there were some guides, but they were all sort of violent, based in violence and suppressing your children as opposed to enriching them.
Dr. Spock was then, I think the conservatives didn't like him after a while because of the Vietnam War stuff. It was he ended up being a controversial figure, which is funny because like everybody raised their babies on him.
Right.
My favorite for anybody who's expecting, my favorite parenting book was The Happiest Baby on the Block.
Okay.
That was really good. Talked about how to soothe your baby.
Nice.
And I used
very important.
The 5 S's.
Nice.
I used them.
The one that helped me the most, I don't remember the title, but it basically laid out the milestones. So sort of around, this many months and this many years, you can expect these, look for these signs and things of happening that's going on with your kid. And that was the thing that helped me, because then there were times where you're like, we're in this little stormy, fussy phase. It's because the brain is developing to the next level, or the body is taking on these new skills or something.
Yeah.
And so that helped me the most.
That's good. That sounds like a good book.
I can't remember for life of me the name of it. I don't even know if we still have it.
We'll never find out now.
I do kind of subscribe to what is it? Is it the carpenter and the gardener? Like this idea that you build your children, which is a lie because they are themselves, or the gardener, where you're just sort of creating an environment for them to thrive on their own a little bit and just creating a place for them to thing when. Because that whole idea of baby Mozarts and baby Einsteins, it's like, no, I have a lot of.
It's mostly just abusive fathers making sure that their children are constantly on stage. Let's take a look at the Jackson 5 here.
Right. Speaking of children with ITP, segue. Did you were you surprised at all by the storyline?
No, I thought that they were signaling it from the beginning of like,
Right.
this is going to be Santos's learning case of not everything's abuse.
Right.
I do think that there's time for things to change because we still have mom coming at 11 and that girl's not getting discharged, right? They said they have to keep her for, I think, 4 days, they said, something like that. They said they're trying to get her room upstairs, but we all know how that goes from season 1. So I do think that we could see, maybe not abuse. I think that would be kind of cheap if you went right back to the abuse. But I think we could see some developments on that case still. I don't think we're done with it.
One of the things that I picked up when Santos was talking about the condition was that stressful environments can be an inducer of reaction.
Was that them? I thought that was the potassium issue.
That too, both of those. That's actually a good call. That was definitely in the potassium issue. And but that then the boyfriend and the girlfriend, the father and the girlfriend started arguing, and I was like, oh well, clearly there's a stressful situation that's going on right there. And they certainly didn't seem like there was any love lost when their relationship ended at the end of the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of shocked by, he's obviously not physically abusive, we've determined, although I guess we haven't ruled it out entirely, but unlikely. But he is very quick on the trigger, right? Like he is very quick to anger and yell and lash out. I mean, I don't know. I don't react like that,
He was very reactive, and that did concern me and still concerns me.
Right.
And it's going to be interesting to see, like you said, what happens when the mom shows up.
Right. David, let's take a quick break and then let's continue this episode. So I have a few other people I'm concerned about. You mentioned the couple in the car accident.
Yes.
First of all, I feel like there's a complication here where like a medical issue caused him to pass out. And so whose fault was the motorcycle accident?
Oh, right.
Because she said he ran it.
Uh-huh.
He said that the wife said that the motorcyclist ran the stop sign.
Right.
Or ran the red light or whatever it was. But now we know
distracted?
Was he distracted? Was he passing out from the potassium issue?
Right.
Or was he going numb?
Okay.
Because we learned the numbness was not from the accident, but from the potassium issue.
Okay. That's good. I hadn't thought through the implications of what was going on there. So that's interesting. And is there... Yeah, I mean, there's a death involved, right? There has to be a minimum of an investigation as to what happened.
Somebody's going to investigate.
Yeah.
Even if just for the insurance, even if there's no criminal charges.
Right. Well, the police, I think, are obligated to investigate to find out, to determine.
To at least do an initial investigation, see what comes up. Yeah, it's tricky. I think that that's going to be a long-term issue we see throughout the day. I mean, now we know that the wife is also having medical issues too, so...
Were you surprised?
No, she's like, I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
She obviously was not fine from the beginning.
Right. And I knew it was only a matter of time before it was going to happen. And it was just like, when is it going to happen? Like, how are they going to unfold this? But the moment she declined attention, it was like,
this is exactly why you go to the hospital after a car accident where you actually have trauma.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going on inside.
Exactly. And especially... Yeah, seatbelts and airbags decrease that a lot, but any high velocity hard object impact, you going into a seatbelt or a side panel or something like that, you have no idea what the repercussions of that could be.
Yeah, it's scary. Even like a deer, right? You hit a deer, go to the hospital.
Right. And I thought it was really interesting too, because they used the two stories. They cross-linked them, and they even cross-linked them visually. So as the boyfriend, the father and the girlfriend of the ITP patient were arguing, they racked the focus back, and we saw, was it Chin? But we're doing a really bad job of tracking all these names of these people. I'll do a better job next week, I promise.
I won't.
Okay, that's fair. I should be able to sketch out.
You can get. I'll send you the IMDb. They have episode by episode names.
Sure. Yeah, I'm well. So sometimes I don't like IMDb. It's hard to get.
It's not perfect, but it's a good starting point.
Starter. Yeah, and I've got some other resources. I just got to do the work a little bit. They racked the focus back, and he was watching the father and the girlfriend have an argument.
Right.
And then they rack back to the focus. And I was like, wait, why did they do that? And then, right away, they had the whole thing where he wanted to record his feelings about what was going on.
Right.
So very interesting. Interesting sort of cross-linking the storylines inside of the episode. So I wanted to ask, that social worker, the actor, did we talk about this last week? I can't remember. He seems like a real social worker to me. He doesn't seem like an actor. Like I could actually see that guy actually being an actual social worker.
He's got the man bun for it, but
totally.
But what I thought was weird was as he's telling Santos, like, I don't really know if there's abuse or not. He's like glaring at the girl. He was like eyeing her in a way that's like, I am talking about you, and it's not good things.
Right.
And I was like, no good social worker is going to do that. Like just smile or don't look at her at all.
Right. What else do we got? I can't think of much more. I think those are most of my notes. Dana, just amazing, heart of gold. Like I love her character and I love what they're doing with her this season so far. I'm so glad that she decided to come back. I think it would have been a big blow. Like not the actor, but like the character, right? The character decided to come back.
Well, you had a big deep dive on the fireworks.
No, it's not really just a deep dive. Just that Zambelli was a guy in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and in the Pittsburgh metropolitan area. So did he? I don't think Louis could have. I think Louis would have had to have met one of the children of the Zambelli, like who was like might have been the head, but like not the very first Zambelli. I don't think the times overlapped. So I didn't do a deep dive. I just basically looked up a quick internet search on Zambelli Fireworks. It's a real company, and so it definitely has a connection to Pittsburgh.
So we do also have campus security guard, Tony Cincioli,
right?
Who is like, I love that scene where he's like, these meth heads, these crazy kids.
Right.
And then, first of all, I'm not sure the HIPAA laws on this, where she's just like, let me read out the full drug test results to the cops in front of the security guard. But I'll ignore it for the sake of the story. But I love the cops going, so that changes things, Tony, because why were you tasing him?
They really played up the fact that he was a jerk.
Yes.
And it was like, okay, what are they doing with this? Where is this going to go?
Yeah, I think we all kind of knew what was going to happen with that. Like, it was not going to go well once things came out. I didn't think that this kid was on any drugs. I think that they kind of signaled that right away.
Right. He's having some sort of there's some sort of episode that's going on. And whether it's schizophrenia or something else, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's definitely having a problem. And it was another telling thing where the emergency room technicians are skilled now at dealing with taser barbs and how to pull them out. Like that's a technique that you have to learn.
Yeah.
Right. That I thought was also interesting.
Terrible. There were two more plot lines that we didn't really touch on. One is justice for the deaf patient who finally got acknowledged. I'm so sorry. At least they acknowledge why. It's just, I'm just so sorry. I just noticed ASL is in your file.
Yeah.
But all right. So we got that.
And they took care of it. Like, this person is going to stay with you and we got you now. We apologize and we've done what we can to make sure that you're taken care of going forward.
Is that a patient passport issue? Did the patient passport fail?
I hope not.
And
I think
we've already seen the cracks.
Medical.
We've seen the cracks in the patient passport. The guy's going 1 to 2 hours for my x-ray. Well, it's probably double that on the holiday version.
It's right.
Just standardized. This is why you don't give a standardized estimate, because it frustrates people. You ever watch 30 Rock where Matt Damon is a pilot and he says that whenever there's a delay, he tells people it's about a half an hour. because it's not so long while you're freak out, but it's long enough where you know it's not going to be right away.
Interesting. And then you just keep kicking 30 owls. 30,
Right.
Did I just say owls? I was trying to. What was the? There was a very funny fight scene where I feel like I'm all over the place today.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So when they're trapped on the airplane and she's breaking Matt Damon and Liz Lemon are breaking up. There's a whole gag about the Legend of the Guardians movie, which is about owls.
Oh yeah. I've been watching that. He invokes Sky Law, which means he puts the seatbelt sign on.
Yeah. Great episode. Anyway, we're not here to talk about
no. But there was one other plot line I wanted to bring out, which was the which pill would you like today, sir? How many did you take? About 7.
Right. Yeah. And when they showed the table, oh my God, I was like, are you people serious right now? Is that a real thing? Is that
I don't know. I've never done this.
Oh man, that was scary. That was actually scary. At least they sort of got him sorted out.
Yeah. I mean, they said it has a short half-life, but obviously they've got to stick around there for a while. Yeah. And I feel like the reason they did this, I don't think they're going to do anything crazy with that guy. I think that they just want those people to be our sideline commentators for the next 3 or 4 hours.
Right. And they're all drinking big drinks, right? Remember the doctor coming off the night shift, he had a big drink. It's like, what's going on with the big drink situation here?
Yeah, that's Dr. Shen. I love Dr. Shen with his giant Duncan.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Amazing. Absolutely.
What about, we haven't really talked about Robbie and Al-Hashimi. They seem to be doing counter looping now. Like they're going to start to go opposite directions.
When she says you can see other people, is she flirting? Is this
so funny?
I don't know. I couldn't tell if she was flirting or not.
I think flirting, it was making a joke. I don't think it was real flirting. I think it was making a joke.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Situation. So
people were speculating because Robbie had that other thing with the what was it, the coordinator, the nurse, coordinator.
The bed coordinator. Yeah.
Right. So people were like, how many people is Robbie seeing when they saw that because that was in the coming the coming trailer. Was that one line with no context, right? So, but in context, I'm like, okay, I think she's just kind of done with him and wants to be away from him.
Right. We're breaking up a little bit here. And we'll go our separate ways. But I do think that there is a big issue with the AI, the patient passports, a busy hospital, a busy urban hospital dealing with a crowded and active situation. I think you're right that there's going to be some drama around there. There's going to be some tension.
Absolutely. Especially when they are going to get flooded with new patients.
Right, with the new code black. So here we go. Hang on to your shirts.
All right. Are we done with this short episode that we did an hour on?
I think so.
This show's
and we didn't even really do a proper line, patient by patient line item on this.
We did talk about all of them, I think, though.
Did we? I think I feel like we missed some, but anyway, maybe that's just my brain being flooded with content right now.
That's all right.
We just did a couple of hours with Alicia today on our Oscar coverage, so look for that episode coming out soon. She and I run through the 10 best picture nominations and talk about the Oscars in general. And so that's pretty fun. And she's got 11 episodes planned for Oscar coverage this season.
I can't keep track of her. She just runs.
It is an incredible feat. So Oscar fans, look out for that. It's going to be a very good season, I think. It's a good season for some films. I just started watching Begonia before we hopped on to record. Man, I cannot believe I slept on this film. I'm invested. 20 minutes in and I'm hooked.
I might have to Begonia. Whatever.
Emma Stone. And Yorgos Lanthimos is the director. And Justice for Jesse Plemons. He got no nominations, and I believe
is that Todd?
Yes,
I never enjoyed him in anything, including Todd.
Seriously?
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan.
Is it Todd?
I'm sorry.
It's got to be Todd from Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I'm looking at him now. Yeah, no, not a fan.
Wow. Okay.
I know, controversial take. Not a fan.
That's right. Stay for
I don't like looking at him.
Banter.
I don't like hearing him.
Stay for the hot takes on Jesse Plemons. What else do we got going on?
Oh, so many things. Of course, the Night of the Seven Kingdoms, 3 times a week, once on the Lorehounds feed and twice on Properly Howard. You've got a full breakdown on Monday or Tuesday, whenever we can get the pod out, and then Sunday night instant take right after the episode.
Are you coming on this instant take?
I probably will come on this one. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should be snowed in. We'll see if my power holds up. I think it will, though.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. We're bracing for impact right now. So all of us here on the East Coast.
I've never lost power here, which makes me think that I'm going to.
Maybe you just jinxed yourself. You just totally
maybe I did once, actually. I don't remember now.
Now you're just trying to get out of it.
But the grid's pretty solid where I live because we get enough snow, you know?
That's good. I think Radioactive Ramblings are still covering Fallout. Are you watching Fallout this season?
I started watching it. I have not gotten that far. Are you?
Okay. No. Last year it just wasn't a show that grabbed me.
I loved it the first season.
A lot of people did.
Gotten back to it. I mean,
it seems like it's doing good this season.
Yeah, people are still liking it. I know that. I just haven't had a chance to do it. So we'll see.
And Nevermind the Music is still churning out the hits. And I think that's sort of it for active affiliate news, right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
That's that, I think.
Okay. Well, should we thank some people?
Let's thank them. We've got our Discord server boosters: Aaron K, Tiller the Thriller, Duve71, Athena A, Lestu, Nancy M, Ghost of Partition, Radioactive, Richard, and Adrian. And our lore masters: Martian, Michael G, Michelle E, SC, Peter OH, Nancy M, Duve71, Ryan 8063, Frederick H, Sarah L, Garrett C, Under B, Kwang Yu, Nathan T, Sub-Zero, Aaron K, Dally V, Mothership 61, Gnarls, Kathy W, Lestu, Jeffrey B, Elisa U, Ben B, Scott F, Stephen N, Julia F, Kali S, Ilmariel, Paul K, Rocky Zim, Jessica A, Red Zippy, the TCS, Dopamine, Catch It, Ellen R, Mrs. Tennant, AC Wilson, Eli W, Cassie K, Chumbarooney, Katila, Josh Lou, Paint in PDX, Corey G, and Adrian. Thank you, everyone. It's a nice long list now.
It is. It's an amazing community. Thank you, everyone, for sticking around. Thanks for everyone. Discord's been popping these days. Got a lot of good chatter about lots of stuff going on. So check us out there. Links in the show notes for the link tree.
All right. See you next week for another hour of the Pit, David. The Lorehounds podcast is produced and published by The Lorehounds. You can send questions and feedback and voicemails at thelorehounds.com/contact. Get early and ad-free access to all Lorehounds podcasts at patreon.com/thelorehounds. Any opinions stated are ours personally and do not reflect the opinion of or belong to any employers or other entities. Thanks for listening.